Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, thank you for joining me on my channel, The UK Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple body scrub. Let's take a look at what we need. First of all, we've got some sugar in a bowl. I've got 200 grams of demerara sugar here. It's going to be a sugar scrub. You can make a scrub out of salt, and a lot of them are that you'll buy in the shops. The reason why I'm doing sugar is because, just from feedback I've had when I used to sell these, salt scrubs can actually sting a bit if you've had just shaved your legs, etc. So I'm doing a sugar one. It's very good to use, but do substitute for salt if you prefer. I have in this bowl 500 mils of oils. I'm using sunflower oil and rosehip oil in here. I've also got some shea butter in this little jar here, and we're going to be flavouring this with some orange essential oil. You can substitute these oils here for any that you prefer. You don't have to put shea butter in if you don't want to. It's a personal choice. I prefer to do it because it makes it a lot creamier. And you can change the essential oil if you prefer a different flavour. Got a bowl and a spoon that we're going to use to mix, and then just a simple little pot to put it all in. Let's get mixing. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually put our oils into our bowl. Now don't worry about writing all this down because I'll put this in the description below so you can follow the recipe if you want to. But just so you know, it's 50 mils of oil, I've got 45 mils of sunflower oil and 5 mils of rosehip oil. That goes into our bowl. Try and get as much in as you can, but not all the drip, so you'll be here all day waiting for the drip in. So once you're happy you've got enough in there, we're now going to pop into the oil our shea butter. Now it's quite soft. Sometimes when you buy this it can be a bit harder, but this one's quite soft. But pop it in. That's 25 grams of shea butter I'm using here. And then with the back of the spoon, you just want to mash it into the oil. It's a bit like sort of cake making this in a way, like you're trying to whisk up cream or beat an egg or something, but you're trying to break it down, or cream butter actually, probably a better analogy. And this can take a little bit of time, so I'll do this for a couple of minutes, but I'll see you in a couple of minutes when it's done. So I've been whisking this for a couple of minutes, and it's looking very much like wallpaper paste here. I'm not sure if you can see that clearly on the camera. There are still lumps in there. We'll never get them completely out unless we whisk our arms off. We don't need to worry about, to be honest with you, because it's going to be a scrub. It's sometimes nice to have these little lumps of shea butter in there that you're going to be rubbing into your skin. So don't worry about getting it completely blended in. Just get rid of the really big lumps, and it will end up looking like this. So once you've got it looking like this, don't worry and panic that you've done it wrong. This is exactly how it's meant to look. The next thing we're going to do is start adding our sugar. Now, rather than just pouring it all in, I'm going to add, if I can get it to move, about half. And there's 200 grams of sugar in here. And the reason why I'm using that much is purely just to fit the size of this container. This is a 250 ml container. And all I did, quite simply, and it's quite an easy trick to do, you take the lid off. If you fill this with your salt or sugar first, kind of up to the first rim, or just below, and then pour that into a container, that'll tell you how much you need, to be honest with you. And it just so happened that it was 200 grams. It wasn't some magic formula. It was just a bit of almost cheating, I guess, but it means that I know I'm going to get exactly the right amount in here. With that little bit of oil and that little bit of shea butter, it's not going to take it up over the top. It's just going to fill it just to the right amount. So now we've got our sugar in here, or if it could be salt that you're using, you just want to start whisking it all together, or mixing it all together. And then we're going to add our other half. And just do exactly the same thing, just mix it all in together. Now it can feel quite dry. If you think it's too dry, you can add a little bit more oil. If you think it's too wet, you can add a little bit more sugar. but don't go mad, just do a little bit at a time. So if you're adding more oil, just add 1 or 2 mils. If you've got little measuring spoons, or you just use half a teaspoon to put a little bit of oil in at a time, otherwise you'll put too much in, and then you'll have to put too much sugar in, or more sugar in, sorry, to get it back the other way, and you will put too much in to fit your container. If it's too wet, just put a little handful of sugar in and just mix it around. We don't want it too wet or too dry, because obviously when you're using this in a shower, you can use this in a bath, it's going to just run off or fall off your skin when you're trying to rub it into your skin. But this is okay, like this. And what you'll find is that when we put this in the container, you can use this straight away, but if you leave it for a couple of days, it becomes a little bit creamier and a little bit more runny as all the ingredients settle together. If you don't use shea butter, it won't go quite as creamy. It's the butter in there that makes it go nice and creamy. And it does seem to take a couple of days for that to happen. So, the next thing we can add now is our essential oils. I'm going to use orange. And what you want to try and do is limit yourself to a maximum of 1% of the ingredients when you're using this. So this is about 250 mils of ingredients. 1% would be 2.5 mils of essential oil. That's still quite a lot of oil, because it's an orange, it could be quite strong. Now, generally a rule of thumb is that you can have 25 drops of an essential oil to 1 mil. So 2.5 or 2 would be 50 drops. I don't want to put 50 drops in, so I'm going to start with 25. If you saw that then, but once they started coming out, they came out very quickly. So just be careful with some of the essential oils. About 25 drops, and I'll just whisk that in. Give it a good mix around. Have a quick sniff. It's nice, but I think that could do with a little bit more. But rather than just doing another 25, I'll put in another 10 if I can get them to start. Once we're happy with our mixture, all we then need to do is put it into our container. And it literally is just a case of spooning it in. So that goes in there. Make sure you get in as much as you can. I've dropped a little bit on the table, but you can pack that down. You can pop your lid on. Give it a little shake down. And there we have it. A nice sugar scrub which you can use in the shower. It smells lovely. You can use that in the bath if you wish. Shelf life wise, you should probably aim to use this. I mean, it probably won't last anywhere near as long as this, but because you're going to be using this, it's got no preservatives in it, you're going to be using this in the shower and water will get into this. You should try and use this within 6 months. And that's it, a simple sugar scrub. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Look out for more tutorials coming soon, but until then, take care.